I drag, one or two players in and then I can pass it off because I create space for other people.
Jack Grealish with the goal! It's one to savour.
He looks committed, determined, tenacious.
That's what you want to do as an attacking player, like try and be a spark. I try and do what I can for the team.
Jack, we've called this the ball progression masterclass with you, but what would you say what's your take on what your role is at Manchester City? What's the boss asking you to do?
Well, obviously I'm an attacking player, so obviously first and foremost, obviously he wants us to get, goals, assists and stuff. I think any forward player, would want that, whether it be a winger, striker, or like a number 10, number 8. But obviously he asks me to do a lot of different stuff, depending on like what game it is. For example, the game at the Emirates, a few weeks ago, it was a tough game, especially in the first half. They were going like man for man, and it was a good atmosphere, especially obviously for them because playing at their place, and it was difficult, to get hold of the ball. So there's times like that, for example, where the manager would want, me and other players to take as many touches, and try and keep the ball and calm stuff down. So yeah, it depends like what game it is really.
For ball carrying per 90 minutes for midfielders and forwards, with enough minutes in the Premier League, you rank at the top per 90. This counts as a time when you progress the ball 5 metres or more. Is your instinct always to drive the ball forward?
Yeah, of course. You want to play forward, especially in a Pep Guardiola team. He wants us to play forward whenever we can. Everyone obviously sees him as like this, like tiki-taka, but there's a lot of the times where the manager says, to us as a team that like having the confidence to play is taking the ball under pressure. When your team are under pressure and taking 2, 3, 4 touches and holding on to the ball, whether you drag 2 players in or 3 players in, and then there's going to be someone spare elsewhere on the pitch, and that's what he wants us to do. A lot of the time, I think this season a lot more teams have gone man for man with us. So times like that you need to hold on to the ball and drag a few players in to create space in different areas.
You spoke about the manager and the sort of tiki-taka cliche. I think that quote at the bottom is speaking to that.
Si tu posición no tiene emoción, que es la definición de no tiene vida, esto es nada, esto es cero, esto no sirve, esto no es juego, esto no es posesión de balón.
Feels like a lot of the time you are that spark.
Yeah, that's what you want, as attacking players. I feel like we have a lot of attacking players here that are all good at different stuff. Whether that be like the players that play inside, like Bernardo, Gundo, and Kev. But then there's like me, Phil, Riyad, and then obviously the 2 up front, Julian and Erling. I feel like that's the one good thing that we have. We're all different and we all have different qualities. I feel like I obviously have different qualities to other players, and whether that be like holding on to the ball in important situations, or even dragging players in and creating space elsewhere is a big part of my game as well. But obviously goals and assists mean a lot, and I feel like I've been doing that more recently.
If we look at the next one, these are your ball carries for this season so far, all over the pitch, everywhere on the left-hand side anyway, and crossing over as well, even onto the other side. Feels like there's nowhere on the pitch, on your half of the pitch on the left, where you aren't willing to get things moving, even in defence. Yeah,
I think defence, like, here's an important one, because a lot of the time, when you're here, you're under pressure. We've been playing out, or whether it's from a goal kick, and Eddie tries to find me in these areas, and I've got to hold a full-back off, or hold a centre-back, whoever it is, onto me at the time, and to get that ball under pressure and turn and try and play forward is an important part of my game. But yeah, obviously I play every game really off the left. Obviously there's a lot of them are coming inside, and that's what the manager wants me to do, to play the opposite side.
In this country, there's a lot of focus on numbers, whether it's goals or assists. I mean, is Jack the type of player who has to be reminded that you can still contribute, still have a good game without racking up those numbers?
It's not about that. It's how he contribution without the ball and how he produce for the other ones, for many things that he is able to do.
So we've got some examples of what you're saying there. You're stretching the team, the opponents here as well, aren't you? It feels like all the defenders don't quite know what to do because they're passing you over from one defender to another.
Yeah, but that's what I try and do a lot of the time, you know, like there's times where I can get the ball, you know, and I drag, you know, 1 or 2 players in and then I can pass it off because I create space for other people. You know, if I give the ball to Kev on the edge of the box, you know, I feel so confident that he's going to do something, or Gundo or whoever it is. But even here, you know, like when I'm running with the ball there and I drag 3 players into me, obviously I had a shot that time. Like here, obviously, I always try and move the ball towards the end where I have, you know, 2 or 3 players around me, and like I said, you know, creating space for someone else. I think that's a massive part of my game.
Jack Grealish draws the fouls. He's very good at buying a foul in areas like this, which are dangerous.
So you've spoken about fouls drawn a couple of times today already. These are the ones just for this season. Obviously, you hold the record as well for the most fouls over a season. Do your shins hurt after a season like that?
Yeah, I've actually had a few shin problems before, you know, and they've said it could be related to obviously being kicked and stuff. I try and do what I can for the team. I'll be honest with you, there's times where I want to, you know, try and stay. Like, obviously, if you're getting fouled in and around here, then it's fine because, you know, it can be useful for the team. But in these areas, you want to try and stay up.
Some examples of you getting fouled here.
Grealish is knocked over there.
He tried to say that he barged me there. That's a foul all day. But like in these areas, it's fine because, you know, we can do something. But like places like this, I want to try and stay on my feet a little bit so I can, you know, keep the momentum with the team.
Brilliantly taken there by Grealish. He is brought to ground. Manchester City have a free kick.
Like this foul, for example, is good because obviously Kev went and scored the winning free kick from this game.
KDB clears them and scores! A brilliant goal from Kevin De Bruyne.
So this is Nader Manua talking about you, and he thinks that hanging around with Mahrez, you might pick something up off him.
Those two are obviously very close. You can see it in the way that they talk.
Yeah.
Do you know what I've noticed recently? When someone switches the ball to Jack Grealish, he tries to control it on a half volley.
I think he's learning that.
I think he's trying to copy him.
Riyad's taught him.
Yeah. I would never think about taking a touch on the half volley if it's a switch of play.
I know what he means because there was one against Leipzig the other day. Someone, I don't know who it was, someone played a pass, and I know exactly what it means with the outside of my foot. Like I let it bounce first, and then but then against Bristol, Manu played one, and I took it down like I took it down first time. Yeah, but obviously Riyad's got the best first touch I've ever seen in my whole life. It's frightening, you know, the way he can take a ball down. But I feel like I have a good first touch as well, though.
So the games that you've been playing in and the games that you've not played in, we can see the points per game difference is 2.5 in the games that you've played and 1.3 in the games that you don't. So is this telling more of a story, and especially the bit where it says average goals for and against? We're conceding almost twice as many goals when you're not in the team. You're contributing defensively as well. Is this part of your game? What does this tell you, do you think?
Grealish back helping out in defence.
He's done well, Jack Grealish.
I think everyone at City, we have such a talented team, you know, and everyone plays their part. Everyone has different attributes, whether that be defenders, you know, some are better at playing out, some are better at defending, some are better at blocking. You know, everyone has different attributes, and I feel like that's the same for the attacking players also. Obviously, for me to look at that, it's obviously nice to see. You know, you mentioned that average goals against. It's something that I do try and work on, especially, you know, my defensive side of the game. Since I've come here, I've tried to improve it because that's what the manager wants. You know, it's all good, you know, doing stuff while you're going forward, but also, you know, you want that cover defensively and try to help out your fullback. So that's something that I've been working on, especially in the past year or so. So hopefully that can continue. Yeah.